How do I encourage myself to like new foods? It's hard for me to try new things because I've just gotten so used to what I like. So I have 3 tips that you can use to try and encourage yourself to try new things. The first one would be to look at your current dietary habits and see if you could make some subtle swaps in there. So let's say, for example, that you frequently eat carrots and hummus as a snack. That's a fantastic snack, but let's try and vary it up a little bit. So one thing you could do would be to vary up what you're dipping in the hummus. So maybe you could try replacing carrots with celery or jicama sticks or blanched green beans. So just another nice crunchy vegetable that you can dip that is already in a framework that you're familiar with. Or same thing, you could try and swap out the hummus for something else that can serve as your dip. So maybe another option could be guacamole or baba ganoush, which is a really delicious eggplant-based dip. So that's one tip you could do. Another tip that could kind of be your motivation to try new things is to try and eat fruits and veggies that are really in season and get really excited and pumped when particular vegetables and fruits are in season. So I know for me, for example, I love fiddleheads. Fiddleheads are, first of all, they're really cute. They definitely win the prize for being the cutest vegetable ever. Now, fiddleheads have a really short season right at the beginning of the spring, so I get super pumped when it's fiddlehead season, and then I just love eating a whole bunch of them during that season. Then come July, strawberries! Strawberries are in season. I'm so excited. Then when it's fall time, all of the squash. So many different kinds of squash. You gotta try them all. My personal favorite is delicata squash, which are those kind of long cylindrical ones, and I love cutting them in half and then cutting them into little half moons and roasting them. So I think if you try and tie some of your excitement to the different seasons in produce, that will help encourage you to try new things and get super excited and fall in love with some new favorites. And then my third tip is to kind of use a framework to make some of your meals, and that framework will allow you to swap in different options. So a framework that I like to use a lot when I'm making a salad is I start with a bed of greens, and then I put in some kind of whole grain, and then I put in 2 or 3 different kinds of vegetables, and then some kind of protein and drizzle a dressing on top. So this way you have a framework. You don't have to recreate the wheel every time, but you can swap things in and out. So when it comes to that whole grain that you put on top of your bed of greens, that could be barley, or it could be brown rice, or quinoa, or farro. So many delicious options that's already in the familiar framework. And then when it comes to the other fruits and veggies that you're putting on top of your salad, you could experiment with different combos, or again, you could take some seasonality to it. So right now it's the summertime, so some of my favorite salads that I'm eating right now, I'm mixing cucumbers and tomatoes, or I'm doing cucumbers and watermelon and feta, or I'm doing some peaches and corn. So good, so refreshing. But then come the fall time, then I love doing squash and apple. So again, if you tie in that seasonality within the framework of this salad, that will offer some really great choices. As far as different protein sources, you could do things like chicken breast or hard-boiled egg or beans. Those are some really great protein options, or nuts. Nuts are another great option as well. And then another type of framework that you could use to build meals around would be kind of a whole grain veggie pilaf. So again, start with some kind of whole grain as your base. Barley, farro, quinoa, so many options. Start with some kind of whole grain as your base, and then mix in some other veggies that you could saute them, or you could roast them, and then mix in some kind of protein. And again, having this framework will offer you the opportunity to play around with different combos. I kind of think of it like kitchen improv, where just like in dance, where we play these improv games where maybe perhaps you have to do all your movement initiated by your elbow, and explore all the different ways that you can move around with your elbow as the initiator. It's kind of the same thing when in the kitchen where you're working with these frameworks, where you have a framework, but then how much can you play within that framework? So hopefully that will help encourage you to try some new foods. I loved answering your questions, so if you want me to do more videos like this, leave me some questions in the comments below, or you can reach out to me through social media on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So thanks for watching. That's what science tastes like.